Williams, Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
All right, thanks, Chris. 8:24 now on 102.7 Mom FM. Live with us here in the studio is Randy from Captain Chuck's 2. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chris.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome.
We are talking about warmer weather and fishing. We do have to eventually get used to it because in July it's going to be a lot hotter than it is now. But I've heard people say from time to time, it's too warm to fish. How can it be too warm now to fish when we have like late June, July temps? What's the take on that?
Some people just don't like sitting out in 90-degree weather, including myself. But it can change, water temperature and things like that. Mm-hmm. This time of year, it can change for the good or it can change for the bad, just depending on, where you're fishing and what you're fishing for.
All right, let's take both sides of that coin for a moment here. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Randy from Captain Chuck's 2 right there at the corner of Jabavi and US 10. Hudson is hanging out in the studio. He might, if he sees a friend pass by the studio, he might bark. But he always looks forward to seeing you, by the way, coming into the studio. So,
yeah, I like seeing him. He's down there sniffing my ankles right now.
Yes, for sure. Let's talk about the fishing. Let's take the good side of it. What is good about warmer weather and, obviously transitioning out of ice fishing? We're in the springtime. And there has to be that comfortable, like, hey, I'm going to go fish, but not really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, a lot of people just don't like sitting out in the hot weather. That's why they complain about it. Mm-hmm. If you're bluegill fishing or pan fishing, something like that, the water temperature can change, fairly quick this time of year. And it's been kind of cold water, so that really warm water can get fish to push up into the beds, and things like that, and begin your spawning cycles, and so it can make it pretty good fishing.
All right. Do you, when somebody asks you if it's an early springtime fishing, is it, and is that a good thing?
We had a little bit of early spring fishing, and then we cooled down for a little while, and then when this hot weather came back in, it really made those inland lakes, that water temperature went up, got the fish more active. Okay. So it made fishing pretty good for a while.
All right. Since we started fishing earlier, I don't know if this makes sense, but I'm going to throw out the question anyway. We're fishing earlier. Does that mean that the quantity of fish, the availability of catching some of those bigger ones later in the season might not be as available for us? Does that factor in at all or not?
No, not necessarily, because you have to take into consideration, one, most of these lakes have a lot of fish in them.
Okay.
Two, we had no ice this year per se, so we didn't lose any fish to people ice fishing.
Okay, that's a good point.
If you think about people like, let's say Hamlin Lake that come up and fish and take 25 bluegills out of there every day for 6 weeks in the wintertime, they're not doing that this winter. So
it could be the opposite. We could have
better fishing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
And you might not notice a difference. So just because those lakes are so big and there's a lot of fish in them. So
all right, sounds good. Anything that you've seen early on in regards to any sort of trophy-sized fish coming out at this point, or is it way too early to even see some of that?
No, we haven't seen any, special fish that we would consider giant. Mm-hmm. We had one nice king salmon come in a couple weeks ago that was almost 26 pounds, which this time of year is a big one, especially 2 weeks ago. So, salmon put on a lot of weight as the year goes. Because of their short life cycle. So they eat a lot and then they go spawn and die. But so 26 pounds in the spring is a pretty big fish.
I was wondering about that. If that was what is like the average or a bigger average weight that you'll see during the summertime when it comes to the king salmon?
We'll see a lot of 30-pounders in the summer. Yeah, right now, if you get a 21, 22, 23-pounder, that's a good fish.
Okay.
A lot of those fish are going to be, 27, 28, 30 pounds by summer and fall.
All right. We're talking with Randy from Captain Chuck's 2 live here in the studio this morning. And ran into the guy from Boxer Bait, right?
Yep, Zach.
Zach there. And it looks like we're going to have him on here in the future. But when we're talking about bait or tackle in general, I always like to see if there's an update in regards to that now that we're in the month of June. Anything going on there that we need to
nothing special. We've got, our, obviously, Memorial Weekend, we got picked over pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But besides that, just getting stuff back in stock is the key. So we order at least once a week for everything.
Okay.
Boxer included. He comes in and kind of takes care of empty pegs for us and just brings us the product. A lot of them we have to write up the orders, but most of it now is getting where we can get them fairly regularly.
And we had talked about spoons, right, during Memorial Day weekend. Was that a phase, and now we're moving into something else, or we can still pick up some of those and catch some fish?
Oh, yeah. Spoons you can catch fish on basically all year on the big lake. Okay. They are starting to get some fish on meat rigs and on flies, but it's still a predominantly spoon bite. So
okay. Hey, we talked about the good things of warmer weather and warmer temps for the lakes and rivers. What's the bad side of that?
Well, the bad side is sometimes the water can get too warm too quick. Okay. We notice it more like on the big lake than you would on the inland lakes. The temperature can change, and it can push the fish either way out deep or push them north or south, just depending on, it would depend on our winds too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if that water temperature changes and we get where there's no temperature break, it can make for really, really hard fishing. Okay. So if the water temperature, let's say you're in 80 foot of water and the temperature's, 60 degrees all the way to the bottom, there's no temperature break, and those fish like a temperature break.
Okay.
So, a lot of times we look for something like, say the surface is 60 and then all of a sudden we have 52 degrees at like 40 feet down, we'll target that 40-foot area, just for where that temperature break is. So without the temperature break, it can make tough fishing, and that's kind of what the warm water will do.
Are you seeing that those that are going out, like we see the boats pass by the studio all the time, are they catching, though?
A week ago, they were absolutely smashing them.
Okay.
I mean, boats were putting 20 to 30 fish in the boat.
Wow.
On a trip.
Okay.
Slowed down now, but that's very common out of the Ludington port that we get what we call the June lull.
Okay.
And so in the beginning of June, for the first couple weeks, sometimes it can be really tough fishing.
Okay.
So they're still catching fish, but just not the numbers that they were, 2 weeks ago.
When does that pick back up?
Usually end of June, early July, it starts really kicking off again. And then July and August and the beginning of September are always really good.
All right, but if you're a diehard fisherman or woman and you want to go out now, are you going to the rivers and streams,
No.
the inland lakes? Where are you going then?
Well, if you want to fish for kings, you'd still go on the big lake.
Okay.
Stream fishing, you can catch some trout right now.
Okay.
But a lot of the people that aren't big lake fishermen are fishing the inland lakes.
Okay.
The Hamlins and Lincolns and things like that. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else that we forgot to chat about in regards to warmer weather and fishing?
I think we're good.
All right, cool. Stop at the Captain Chuck's 2, right there at Jabavi and US 10. Times that you guys are open, let me take a shot at it.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't said it in a while.
It's been a while for you on
It
this
is.
one, yeah.
7 a.m.?
Yep.
6 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay.
What days?
Let's go Monday through Friday. No, Monday through Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. And 7 a.m. on Sunday?
Yep.
Okay. To 4 p.m.?
Nope.
3 p.m.?
Nope.
No.
Keep going.
2?
Nope. Keep
Noon?
going. Yep. Noon.
Okay. Sorry. 7 to noon on
7
Sunday.
to noon on Sunday.
All right,
Yep.
there you go. By the afternoon hour. I mean, you've fished or you're going out in early morning anyway on Sunday, right?
Yeah, a lot of times. And, we're usually fairly slow early Sunday morning, and we pick up from like 10:30 to noon.
Okay.
And then we just found that with being short-staffed and, we're not super busy on Sundays, that noon just works the best for us.
All right. Do you need a new hire or two at all or not?
Oh, we're always looking for
All right.
something.
All
So.
right. Go talk to Randy from Captain Chuck's too.
Yep.
There you go. And then the gun show. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But the firearms there at I'm far from a gun show. The firearms at Captain Chuck's too. How's that going?
It's going great. Jake's doing really well there. He's already talked about how many new customers he's gotten, and a lot of them people he knows from on the phone, but he's never met, and now they come in and have talked to him in person, and so yeah, I think it's going to be really good.
All right, sounds good. If they want to get a hold of you, what's the phone number?
231-843-4458.
All right, or stop into Captain Chuck's 2 right there at the corner of Jabavi and US 10. And open 7 days a week, right?
Yeah, 7 days a week.
Absolutely. All right, Randy, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
You got it. It is 8:34 on 102.7. It's Mom FM.